George C. Marshall High School in Falls Church, Virginia. WHCS Cable Channel 5 presents Group AAA Division 5 State Semifinal Championships. The Hampton Crabbers versus the McLean Highlanders. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you to George C. Marshall High School for the state semifinals, Division 5. The once defeated Hampton Crabbers, 11-1 on the season, against the undefeated 12-0 McLean Highlanders. Well, Bob, we've got the Hampton Crabbers here in the big game. This should be a real good game, coming off of that victory over Deep Creek.
Well, that was a hard-fought victory at Deep Creek, and I thought the Crabbers did a real good job of stopping and not letting their defense break. They bent, but they didn't break. Tim, this field is real soft. I don't know what effect it's going to have on either one of the two teams tonight, but it's going to be a good ball game.
Of course, the Hampton Crabbers are here with a great team effort. They lost that opening game against Kickoff 12-8 in a driving rainstorm at Darling Stadium. Since then, they have been perfect. 11 straight victories. And, of course, the avenged victory against Deep Creek last week. Ronald Curry, a fabulous game. Just couldn't ask any more of this young man.
I tell you, Tim, he does things that you and I sit up there and marvel, and we run it on replay and said, how did he get out of that position? But he not only throws the ball well, he runs well, he checks off the line of scrimmage, and then he got 20-some tackles on defense from his safety position. You couldn't ask for it. And then he said to himself, he said, well, I'm disappointed I didn't get a couple more interceptions, but that's a mark of a fine athlete who wants to win, never satisfied with his performance, although you and I, that was a stellar performance.
It was a superb effort on the part of the whole team, and let's not lose sight of the fact that one of the reasons that Hampton is in this game is because of their defense. Last year, the Hampton Crabbers were an excellent ball club, fell a little bit short, and a lot of people pointed at the fact that the defense was young and hadn't been able to quite do the job. I really think the defense has come around this year.
Oh, they really have, but they're going to be tested today. This young man, this quarterback, has thrown 26 passes, and I looked at the roster. They got a tight end that catches, a split end, and a flanker. Well, one of them caught 38 passes, another one was caught 28, and the other one 32. So he spreads the ball around. But they've got two running backs that have, both of them together, is over 2,000 yards. So, you know, Hampton's going to be tested. But, of course, when you get to this level, they expect that. They expect to be tested. But Hampton Crabbers, as the folks back home know, they always rise to the occasion.
They do have a very balanced attack. As you mentioned, Bob, their quarterback, Levon Carter, better than 65% completion ratio, 26 touchdowns, as you mentioned, and the 2,000 yards between the two running backs. So the Crabbers will have to be real sharp on defense today. And, of course, the Hampton Crabbers bring some versatility to their attack as well. Ron Curry is not the only offensive cog.
No, they got a great running back in Ricks, who is a sprinter. Smith from the fullback has just done a great job. And when Ricks was hurt, they brought in Ahmad Hawkins, and he ran over almost 500 yards in 2 ball games. And then you look at Bobby Blizzard, the tight end, Ahmad Hawkins at the split receiver, and Kenny Crawford has done a great job. So they've got a lot of weapons. Their defensive line, offensive line have played well all year, and you got to take your hat off to their coaching staff. Danny Mitchell and Alvis Mann, just to mention two of the top assistants, have Mike has told me before that sometimes they're on a page ahead of him, but that's kind of nice to have assistant coaches that you know that you can depend upon.
Well, you and I talked about this at length on the way up here. One of the things we talked about is the difference in the fact that the Hampton coaching staff has been together so long. They do a great job of preparing a game plan, and I think they had an excellent game plan against Deep Creek last week.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Mike said we can pass against them, and they did.
Well, that's one of the things that the Crabbers are going to have to watch out for today is the pass. And you had a chance to talk a little earlier with Carl Buckwalter, the head coach of the McLean Highlanders. Let's go to that interview.
Bob Hintz with Carl Buckwalter, coach of the McLean Highlanders, 12-0 this season. Quite a turnaround from last year.
Oh, yeah, it's a big turnaround, and we knew we had a lot of people coming back, and we were 2-8 last year. We lost 4 games on the very last play, and we've been through that situation, and we turned it around this year. The kids have done a great job.
Well, I know you got to be real happy with them. You got some ball players that are really good. I know you got one young man, number 80, who's already signed with Tech. Tell me a little bit about your team in a real short capsule, if you can.
Well, we're a collective group of kids that have been together, a lot of them for 4 years. They've come through the system. They stayed the course through the lean years. We feel we got an excellent quarterback, as well as Hampton does. Our quarterback, Levon Carter's thrown for about 2,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. We got an excellent defensive tackle who has been offered by 6 or more schools, Division I schools. He's a big-time player. We have 2 running backs that can fly, and we have what we think is Ted Hendricks reincarnated in the Mad Stork at tight end, and he's a heck of a player. He's a junior. He's about 6'7", 2 1/4", so he's a player too. So we're real excited.
What do you expect from Hampton today, Coach?
I expect a wide-open attack. They got some great athletes. They obviously got the tradition at Hampton. It's usually I'm usually coming to this ball game watching TC or Annandale play Hampton, so it's a big deal for our community, and we're real happy to be in this game.
Well, listen, I want to congratulate you on a fine season, a good turnaround,
Thanks.
And good luck to you today.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Good enough, Carl.
Coach Buckwalter, of course, very happy with his team's success. They were 2-8 last year. To turn it around and be 12-0, you've got to have a good team. And if Hampton takes this team lightly, they could be in for trouble.
Well, I don't think Hampton's going to take them lightly. I talked with Danny Mitchell. I watched some film with him, and they're taking this game very, very serious. He says some people in Hampton are talking about next week's game. He says, we don't think about next week's game. We got to play this game. We got to win this game, and we're not going to take anybody lightly.
I'm sure they're not, because this is a well-coached squad. These kids have been in state competition over the years a number of times, and they will be ready for this game. And as a matter of fact, we were also going to be able to show you an interview with Mike Smith, but unfortunately Mike a bit preoccupied with preparation for this game and a little bit under the weather, we might add. So unfortunately we didn't have a chance to talk with him before the game, but I know that he is going to have the team ready.
Oh, he most certainly will have the team ready. There's no doubt about that. But one thing that you always look at Hampton, their trademark is they go about preparing for a game a workman-like ethic. I mean, a blue-collar worker, if that's what you want to call them, but they do the job. They know what to do. They don't try to play on emotions. They go out and they do the job. They're very skilled ball players, and that goes back to the coaching staff.
All right, we're going to be back with the starting lineups for today's state semifinal championship game right after this brief timeout.
Serving our community of learners, this is WHCS, Cable Channel 5.
Team, we expect you to demonstrate leadership and sportsmanship down here today. If you have any problems with any players on either side, we're going to be looking at you all to help us out with it by example and getting those players in line. Anybody have any questions before we begin? We're using National Federation rules. The clock will be official. If the clock goes out, we'll keep you on the sideline and we'll keep you notified. All right. As I've told these captains earlier, I'm going to repeat it for you all. If there's a foul, I'll ask either for a white captain or a red captain to come to me. I'll explain the choices. Once you've given me a choice, though, you can't change your mind. So make sure the answer you give me is the one you're going to stick with. All righty. I'm going to repeat the coin toss at this time. All right. Okay, that same way, didn't it? All right. Whites won the toss and you elected to receive. Is that correct? Red, you're going to defend that scoreboard. Is that right? All right, gentlemen, I'm going to give the preliminary signals, and I want you all to come back in here again, shake hands with one another, and then break for your respective sidelines. Stand where you are. Wheel around. Receiving on this end. Shake hands, men. Go get them. Let's have a good one.
Zooms Sitco with 5 friendly Hampton locations. By Hampton Chevrolet in Hampton. By Forbes and Broadwell, attorneys at law, along with Lifeline Fitness Center.
When gearing up for your next print job, call Gear Up.
By Wood Funeral Home, where the funeral director is Richard Pulley. Well, Bob, they've just had the toss of the coin. The Hampton Crabbers have won the toss. They will receive, and they'll be going from our left to our right for the initial possession of the ball game. They're the officials for today's game. The referee is Bill Ronhurst. The umpire, Bruce Stritsky. Don Caldwell is the linesman. The line judge is Jim Farley. Carson Kelly is the back judge, and the electric timekeeper is Vince DeVito. These officials are from the Western Virginia Association from the Roanoke area. The timekeeper is, however, from the Northern Division. They apparently had some problem getting their timekeeper to accompany the group, so he is the man in charge of the time.
And while we have it, just real quick time, Tim, I do want to mention that we will pick a player from the Hampton Crabbers for the player of the game. They receive a shirt and a plaque. Plaque comes from Buckwalter Engraving, located at Kickotan Road. For all your engraving needs, contact Jim at 723-6067. Dave Buckwalter, owner. The shirt comes from the Highlander Hardware and Sporting Goods, located in Percosin. For the full line of athletic goods, both individual and team, and equipment, plus screen printing, call Dave Chubb, 868-8467, John Roberts, owner. And I got it in.
David Ragswell will be kicking off for the Highlanders of McLean. That's not McLean, but it's McLean High School. Ahmad Hawkins, one of the deep men for the Hampton Crabbers, and it will be taken by Christopher Ricks, one of the up men, at about the 14-yard line. Ricks up the middle, out across the 30, check at the 25-yard line. I'll get it right, you had 33-yard line. Again, we will have a disadvantage this afternoon. Difficult to see the yard markers.
As we see our Crabber starters, we have Lively at center, Groggins, Massenberg at guards, Green and Smith at tackles. The ends are tight end Bobby Blizzard. Split end is
Hampton will begin play on its 33.
We'll catch there we go. Kenny Crawford, the flanker, and Maud Hawkins in the backfield. We have Ricks and Smithing, the Ronald Curry at quarterback.
And you see the shot. Ronald Curry on the initial handoff of the ball game gives to Chris Ricks, and Ricks is stacked up for a slight loss by the right side of the defensive line of McLean.
Well, that's number 55, Tim. He was in both tackles.
Now for the Highlanders on defense, the guards are Johnson and Amshin. Secrelli and Cass are the tackles. Krill and Phillips are the ends on defense for McLean High School. The linebackers are White, Winfield, and Carter. And the halfback is Jabby, and the other half is Epperson.
Hobby Jobby.
Hobby Jobby. Second down and 11. Delayed handoff to Chris Ricks. He's got some running room this time. He is tripped up as he gets out close to the 40-yard line at about the 38-yard line.
Christopher Ricks, the ball carrier.
And well, that was Levon Carter making the tackle. Number 2 is also the quarterback.
Moves it out to the 38-yard.
We will see most of the time that the McLean defense, Tim, will either be in a 6-3 or a 5-3. And we see the replay, a nice move by Ricks to get out and pick up some valuable yardage.
Third down and about 4 for the Crabbers. And it looked like movement. I guess no one entered the neutral zone for McLean. So the play continues. Audibling at the line of scrimmage is Ronald Curry. Now on the option, Curry cuts it up, and he will only get to the 40-yard line, so he will not make enough for the first down.
Quarterback Curry is the ball carrier. He takes it himself, but not enough for the first down apparently.
So it'll be fourth down for the Crabbers.
75 Dorian Cass on the stop for the Highlanders.
Fourth down and about 2.5, almost 3 yards. Now Ronald Curry, of course, is the quarterback as well as the punter for the Hampton Crabbers. So he'll be in deep punt formation, standing at his 30-yard line. A sunny, crisp, late fall day here in Falls Church. Curry's kick, an end-over-end kick, takes a bounce in favor of Highlanders. The Highlanders will have the ball at their 36-yard line for their first possession.
But Tim, this is a real soft field. That ball hits, it's not going to go very far, as you evidenced on that punt.
Let's talk about the field. The field is rather damp. There was snow up here several days ago, and for that reason the field is very moist and the footing will be slippery at best. The Highlanders from their 36-yard line. First and 10, Levon Carter, play action fake. wants to throw, got a man open, and completes the pass at the Hampton 40-yard line.
That's big number 89, Tim, as we get a chance to look at their starters.
We'll have to get a new number for that man. I believe that might be K.
Yes.
First down, McLean moving into the territory.
Evan K, watch this now, play action fake. And it looked like he was going for the short man and actually connected with the deep receiver for a big first down in Hampton territory. Handoff, left side. Carrying the ball is number 5, Winfield. Michael Winfield picks up a couple of yards.
If we get a chance, we will show you the starters.
He's tackled by Kenny Crawford.
The defense, we have Perry and Smith, the guards. Green and Monroe are the tackles. The defensive ends are Groggins and Baycoat. Linebackers, White and Hollier. The cornerbacks for the Crabbers are Hawkins and McKenzie, and Ronald Curry is the safety.
Second down and about 7, almost 8.
In an I formation with a man in motion. And a reverse.
Reverse is fumbled in the backfield. The ball is picked up and recovered by the Highlanders, but a substantial loss on the play as Dean Jackson was the young man mishandling the ball, and it goes all the way back to the McLean side of center of the field.
Well, both Crawford and Baycoat were in on that.
There you see the Highlanders on offense. The center is Secrelli, Vibert, and Amshin are the guards. The tackles is Knight and Cass. Sterling is the tight end. The split end is Costello. The flanker is Kay. And there you see the rest of Epperson and Winfield along with Lamont Carter at quarterback. Third down and 17 for the Highlanders, and now a whistle and a flag stops the play before it gets underway.
Well, we had a man in motion that broke to the line of scrimmage before the ball was snapped, and that'll take them back 5 more yards. Tim, they will normally line up in an I formation. Sometimes they'll split the backs into a split backfield, which normally they're going to run or they're going to pass out of. That time they not only split the backs, put a man in motion trying to overload the left side of the field.
Ball moves all the way back to the McLean 49-yard line. So the Highlanders, after a successful first down pass, have been going in the opposite direction for the subsequent plays.
They got 3 wide receivers on the right side of the field, the far top of the field, as you can see.
And that's where Carter's looking, and he's throwing long, he's throwing deep. The best chance is an interception. That is Ronald Curry with the INT. Ronald Curry, the quarterback and safety, returns the ball to the Hampton 26-yard line. A late flag is down.
And it was a illegal block by the Crabbers, which will take them back a few more yards.
And Ronald Curry with the pick at the 5-yard line. That was just simply a Hail Mary pass. He really didn't have anyone in particular in mind, I don't think.
Well, this is one thing that Danny Mitchell said, that they just throw the ball up, Tim, and hope the receivers run under it. But you've got somebody like Curry, as we see on here, he will run underneath the ball.
The replay shows the closest receiver was 10 yards away. So Ronald Curry, but the return will have a penalty tacked onto it. Our referee Broadhurst tells us a clip charged against the Crabbers. So the Crabbers will have the ball for the second time with 6:45 remaining here in a scoreless first quarter. Falls Church, the site of the semifinals state championship game. Jackson wide to the left, Crawford to the near side. I formation, handoff, first man through. That is Smith, I believe.
Yes, and he was hit right line of scrimmage. Tim, they're going to sometimes we'll put 9 men right up close to that line of scrimmage, within 3 yards of that line of scrimmage. Pick up maybe a yard. We got this sun coming right into us, so you walk over to that door, you got a much better look than I've got here.
Yeah, it's kind of nice having the door open here in a rather comfortable press box at George C. Marshall High School. Tim Cole and Bob Hitz. State semifinal championship group, AAA Division 5, Hampton Crabbers and the McLean Highlanders. The pitch goes to Chris Ricks, trying to turn the left end, and he will not get the corner as the pursuit by the defensive the Highlanders is there to stop him.
Tim, they've done a great job of stringing that out and making him run left, east to west rather than north to south, and actually lost the yard that they picked up the play before. Gear Up Printing can handle all your printing needs. See Tom Gear at 1909 North Armstead Avenue in Hampton.
And Zoom Sitco. We're proud to have David Allen and Zoom sponsoring us again this year. They've been with us throughout the football season, and we appreciate their support of Channel 5 sports coverage. About Hawkins to the near side, Kenny Crawford to the left. In motion is Chris Ricks. Curry wants to pass, feels some pressure from the end zone, throws it long. He's got a man behind the defense, and he comes up with the ball. Yes or no? No, they say incomplete. Almost picked off. And that ball was an ill-advised pass.
Tim, if you look at that footing, Ronald Curry really had to do a good job of setting his feet to try to throw that ball downfield. Christopher Ricks got behind the defensive man, but just could not come up with the ball. And this brings up a kicking situation with Ronald Curry, of course, back in deep punt formation. Highlanders should come up with good field position.
We want to talk about the breeze. There is a bit of a wind. Curry slips down as he kicks the ball. The Crabbers will get a bit of a break in that it took a slight roll, but Curry picks himself up off of a treacherous field. This field is in terrible conditions.
It really is in bad shape.
Ronald Curry not limping, so that's good news there. You see him on your screen. Ron, of course, will play safety on defense, but the Crabbers now give the ball to the Highlanders at the Hampton 39-yard line. So great field position once again for the Highlanders.
They've got number 55 in the backfield, and I'm not sure what they want to do. They have to call a timeout. Steve Forbes and Mark Broadwell are attorneys at law. They are located at 1 East Queens Way in Hampton, and we appreciate their helping us support Channel 5.
We're getting a very extra little bonus today. Alex Grimm has hooked up a statistics monitor for us. We're going to be able to tell the folks as we go along how everybody's doing. For example, Chris Ricks has carried the ball 3 times so far. Ronald Curry 1 for 2 yards. A total of 8 yards rushing for the Crabbers so far. On the other side of the coin, the McLean Highlanders are minus 25 yards
Today's game is the second round of the VHSL
on their attack so far because of those fumbles and losses. But the Highlanders, a very spirited group. They were 2-8 last year, and this coach Carl Buckwalter has turned this team around. As a matter of fact, Buckwalter played on the 1980 team that went 10-0 during the regular season here at McLean.
Well, they got 55 in the backfield, Tim. 55 is Joe Pinero. He's normally not playing that fullback spot, but that's who they've got in there as a blocker.
Dean Jackson is the ball carrier. Check that 33, Epperson rather. Dwayne Epperson gets the call and picks up about 2 on the play.
And Kenny Crawford was right in the middle of the Crabber defense that time.
Gets about 2 on the pickup.
Really unfortunate, not that anyone can control these things, but the field is just in horrible playing condition. They had snow on the field. It finally melted, but of course it's not had an opportunity to completely dry out, so the footing is treacherous at best. Carter back to pass. Over the middle, and one hopper incomplete.
And he got quite a bit of pressure that time from the Crabbers, and this is one thing the Crabbers are going to try to do is put pressure on Carter as he goes back. That was intended for number 88, Yvonne Kay. Is he the one that received that long pass at the beginning of the first play?
Here's a chance to watch that last play on replay. You'll see
it looked almost like a screenplay, except the Crabbers had shot a linebacker in there.
3rd down and 8 for the Highlanders. No score here in the first quarter. 3:50 remaining. State semifinal championship. In motion is Krill, and now we have a whistle and penalty flags once again. So it's been kind of a sloppy start for both sides of the ball. And now a timeout, in fact.
And that is their second one, isn't it?
Second of 3, so they'll have only 1 timeout remaining in the first half as the Highlanders have used their second timeout. The first quarter of action is sponsored in part by Wood Funeral Home, where Richard Pulley is the funeral director. Also on staff are Brian Wood and John Ware. And we also want to thank Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton for being one of our first quarter sponsors. They are, as I mentioned, on Mercury Boulevard in Hampton, Hampton Chevrolet. Well, both teams are off to kind of a shaky start. I want to attribute a lot of that to the footing, but of course the defense for the Highlanders has come up big against the Hampton Crabbers on the run, and Ronald Curry, to be quite honest with you, has had a horrible time getting his footing.
Well, that field, Tim, when I walked through it, I just couldn't believe how soft and mushy it is, and if you don't have some long cleats on, the footing is just going to be terrible.
In the first quarter here, total yardage for the Highlanders 30 yards, while the Crabbers have just 8 yards in their first 2 possessions. Big third down and about 8. Again, Krill comes in motion to the near side. Lavon Carter back, throws, and a diving catch made for a first down. A superb effort by Ivan Kay, number 88.
He had to lay out for that pass, and that was the only place that Carter could throw it with nobody else getting a hold of it.
Kay, 28 catches on the season, 376 yards and 6 touchdowns. Get a chance to watch this one again. This is a beautiful pass and even a better catch. Diving catch for the first down. Ball is at the Hampton 23-yard line.
And Highlanders are again in that I formation. Give it to the tailback.
The tailback picks up about 5. That was number 33, Epperson, carrying the ball.
That was for the Crabbers, Tim. That was Eric Monroe, along with Derek White, helped making that stop, but they picked up substantial yardage.
Got about 6, almost 7 on the play.
If you're lucky, you get to a place where the field is a little firmer, you get some good footing.
Kay goes in motion to the right. And this one is stacked up, and the Crabbers are on the wait for Dwayne Epperson as he barely got back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, I believe he might have even lost a couple of yards.
Big William Perry blocked up that hole, Tim, 6 foot 285, just a sophomore. There's a lot of sophomores that have really stepped up for this Crabber team, and he is one of them.
They marked the ball just inside the 20-yard line. Let's call it the 19-yard line of Hampton. And that'll bring up a third down and about 5 after the 2-yard loss.
And that looks like a passing situation. And of course, I don't know what kind of a field goal kicker they have, but with that footing, they may use this as 4-down territory.
Costello and Kay left side on the pattern. The pass is complete. No, incomplete. At the goal line.
Nathan Krill, big tight end, Tim, had his big paw on it, just couldn't come down with it.
When you say big, you mean big. 6'6", 225, the junior. Stops the clock with 1:57 remaining, and it's 4th down for the Highlanders. I don't believe they're going to try a field goal. It looks like they've got the regular starting attack. Here's the replay of that last pass attempt. You'll see Krill had a hand on it, just couldn't bring it in. I thought he had it for a moment. So it's 4th down and 5 for the Highlanders. In motion is Krill. 3 wide receivers to the left, and Lavon Carter gets it away. He throws it. It's incomplete.
Well, that's a good thing that the Crabbers didn't intercept it, Tim, because they'll get it back at the line of scrimmage. But as a ball player, you got a chance to intercept it, you're going to do it, and you can't fault the Crabber for trying for the interception. Great defensive pressure that time for that front line of the Crabbers.
They did get the pressure on the quarterback, so Carter could not get the 4th down conversion. So each team now has had the ball twice, and by far the McLean Highlanders have had the best of the play. They have total yards here in the first quarter, 39 yards passing and just 1 yard rushing. So they've got 40 yards to the Hampton Crabbers 8. On the option, the pitch goes to Chris Ricks, and Ricks gets around the corner and is driven out of bounds on the McLean side of the field, but not before getting a first down.
Well, that's their initial first down, and that feels real good, and that was the option play. Hampton figures that they can get outside. Again, the field makes you slower than you normally are, and you hope that that slows their team down also.
So the Crabbers, as you mentioned, Bob, register their first down of the ball game. Here's the replay. You'll see Christopher Ricks turning the corner.
Good job by our cameraman, Ron, ESPN Beaton, right on the sideline.
Ball at the Hampton 32-yard line. Quarterback keeper, as Curry just takes it straight forward for about 3 yards out across the 35.
Well, if you see something, and coaches have talked with Ronald Curry, and he knows tendencies, he sees what they're lined up in, and if he figures he can pop that through, he's going to do it. Picked up good yardage.
The play of about 4, let's call it, will be second down and 10. You see the McLean side of the field, the Highlanders, making their first ever visit to the state semifinals. They have won the regional title 2 previous times, in 1980 and again in 1992. But this is the first time they've ever made it to the semis. And now we've got a flag down, a delay of game penalty against the Crabbers. So with second down and 6 now, they'll be looking at second down and 11.
Well, what happened that time was Ronald Curry was checking off the line of scrimmage and just took too long to do it. As we can see, our camera people on top of the press box, we have Nate Braxton, who is at one end, and at the other end we have Tanya Sykes. They're above our heads. And I asked Tanya, I said, "You don't have vertigo, do you?" Yeah. Can't hardly see her. She's so little back there.
I'll stand at the door here so I can get a good shot from my mom. Third down. Second down at 11. Christopher Ricks turns the left end. He's got some running room all the way out to the 45-yard line.
What a nice call that time. Ricks has got some sprinter speed, and he showed it that time as a nice burst. Put his head down and tried to split the 2 tacklers. But I believe that's the best field position Crabbers have had today, Tim.
All the way out to their 48-yard line. And Christopher Ricks, who was rather quiet last week against Deep Creek because of all the action between Ronald Curry and Derek Smith. But Christopher Ricks off to a good start. 5 carries from 35 yards here in the first quarter. First down at the Hampton 48-yard line. No score. Straight up the middle, the Crabbers down into McLean territory at the 49-yard line.
You see the Crabbers are walking up that line with a little more confidence, and this momentum is a real strange animal. It'll go from one team to the other team, and you can see it swing by 1 or 2 plays or just by an action of a player.
Darrell Smith was the ball carrier, picked up almost 3 yards on the play. Probably the last play of the quarter. This is Ricks, left side, and he is down to about the 46. So a couple more yards as the time expires here in a very rapidly moving first quarter. And we have played the first 12 minutes of the state semifinal championship game, and we have no score after 12 minutes.
Well, Tim, we've had a lot of people have talked to us and how well they like our telecast and everything. And I have a young lady in our church, Curly Roberson, who tells me her husband Paul is a avid Hampton Crabber fan, and he can't come to the ball games, and he loves our contest. I just want to say hello to Paul Roberson, and we hope that we're doing the job that he likes.
Hellos and recognizing some of our fans. Margie Jackson is another one of Billy Odom, another one of our fans. He never misses a game.
Never misses a game. In fact, he'll let Scotty know what he should be doing right.
Finish the thought. Margie and Bill Johnson and their daughter Stephanie, they were going to come up for the game today, but Margie had some car problems, so she wasn't sure she was going to do it, but said something to me about Bill was going to work all night long to get the old Blazer working, so hopefully they were able to get up here. Good crowd from Hampton on hand. We saw several vans and vehicles on the way up here with the red and white of the Hampton Crabbers emblazoned on windows and the like.
We will pick a player of the game from the Hampton team tonight. night or this afternoon, they receive a plaque and a shirt, and the plaque comes from Buckwalter Engravings, who, by the way, may be a cousin to Carl Buckwalter, the coach of McLean, and we won't hold that against him. And the shirt comes from the Highlander Hardware and Sporting Good.
All right, first quarter statistics real quickly for you. Hampton 2 first downs, as did McLean. Total offense, 47 yards for Hampton, 38 yards for McLean. As we had the time of possession almost equal, 6.5 minutes for Hampton, 5.5 for the Highlanders. And again, we appreciate Alex Grimm providing us with all these statistics. Christopher Ricks is not going to be able to turn the corner as he got the pitch, and a good job by Levon Carter along with Kevin White of the Highlanders to prevent Chris Ricks from turning that corner.
Well, that's their quarterback. Carter does a great job both defensively and offensively, as Ronald Curry does.
So the Crabbers now facing a 4th down and 5. Here's the replay. You're going to see a good job by Carter to hold Ricks up, and then to finish off the play was Kevin White. Ronald Curry standing back at his 40-yard line in deep punt formation. Gets a good snap, a little bit of pressure, gets a much better kick away this time. It's over the head of the intended recipient, and it's fielded at the 2-yard line and along the sidelines, finally taken down at about the 13-yard line, where the Highlanders will start 1st and 10.
Well, they're in the worst position that field position they've had today. That was a nice kick by Ronald Curry, and I'm sure he felt like he had more firmness under his feet, because remember the last time he kicked, his feet went right out from under him.
So the Highlanders will start from their 13-yard line as they will have the ball down for the 3rd time.
Well, you've got great eyes, Tim. It's hard for me to pick up the markers.
I have my secrets.
I hear you talking.
The red-clad Highlanders of McLean High School. And off to the tailback. That is Dwayne Epperson. He is a 5'9" junior. And Epperson picks up several yards. Hampton Crabbers, of course, their defense did a great job last week against Deep Creek. They had a tough time containing Dion Dyer. Dyer with 300 yards on offense, but you and I have used this expression all too many times, I'm sure, but we'll use it one more time. The Hampton Crabbers last week, their defense bent, but it never broke.
That's right.
They did a great job in winning 24-19 to get to the state semifinal championship game. They got to win this one if they want a chance at the title. Carter pitches to Epperson. Epperson turns to left.
Great job that time by Kenny Crawford, turning that inside so that he would not get outside and pick up additional yardage.
Speaking of Kenny Crawford, I inadvertently gave him credit for a touchdown catch last week, and I want to make sure that I correct myself, because Kenny Jackson, number 23, in fact, was the young man who made the touchdown grab, as we've got a stoppage in play here for a measurement. It is close enough to measure for the first down, but Kenny Jackson is the young man who caught the ball. And also, while I'm correcting myself, let's make sure that we give the right title to the right people. Diane Limerick is the trainer for the Hampton Crabbers. Trish Mitchell is the athletic director.
And Trish has been mad at me all week because she thought I said that.
You did, but I thought I'd cover for you anyway.
I appreciate that. Get in shape with a membership at the Lifeline Fitness Center. Is located at 1816 Todd's Lane in Todd's Center.
It's going to be 3rd down and inches, so the Crabbers here with an opportunity to bottle up the Highlanders if they can prevent a first down here. They might be able to get some field position, something they haven't had a lot of. There's a fairly substantial breeze behind the backs of the Highlanders, so if they did have to kick, they would have the benefit of some wind.
Well, Tim, we got a full crowd here on both sides. Great contingent from the Hampton following is on the other side. I saw our buddy Bunny Brown made it up here, and he says, I'm here, ready to go. Another great Hampton supporter. He's at all the Hampton ball games.
9:45 remaining in the first half. We are scoreless. 3rd down and inches for the Highlanders.
And he did not get it, Tim.
He did not.
Great job. Let me pick up the number. 75, Donnie Green. Whoa. Shot the gap, guessed right.
Ball carrier was Michael Winfield. I don't believe he got back to the line of scrimmage. They're going to take a look at it, and they may bring the chains out. No, he says, I know it's not. He's going to indicate a 4th down. So the Highlanders now will be faced with the possibility. There you see the very last of that play. Donnie Green in there to stop him. But the Highlanders come out in a go-for-it stance. I just can't believe they would do this on their own 23-yard line. They keep a quarterback keeper, and he may or may not have gotten it.
Depends on the mark.
That's going to be real close. And boy, you talk about going for a big gamble. Now they went with a quick count, and for that reason, if they got it, that would be the only reason I can foresee that they might have made it. They got a rather generous spot out of that too. You might be able to hear some of the Hampton faithful.
Well, that was Coach Carl Buckwalter holler and say, "Come on, ref, give me a good spot."
Well, I think he got a real good spot, to be honest with you.
Well, I want to talk about the coaching staff. That's his father, Tim, that is on the sideline with him. That's Hal Buckwalter, along with David Pleasance, Ed Smith, Larry Knight, Bill Fedora, Greg Benson, J.J. Hodman, and Dwight Epperson are the coaching staff for the Highlanders.
Yeah, I got to take my hat off to these guys. They went for 4th down on their own 23 and got the 1st down. That's a gutsy call.
It's scary.
I'll give you the Hampton coaching staff here in just a moment. But a fresh set of downs for the Highlanders on what has to be as gutsy a call as you could ever have early in this ballgame. Levon Carter feels some pressure, loops over the middle, completes the pass. That is 82 Nathan Krill all the way out to 45-yard line.
That's that big number 82.
We recognize the coaches for the Hampton Crabbers. Mike Smith, of course, the head coach, Albus Mann, Danny Mitchell, Lanny Franklin, Todd Summers, Kenny Gillian, Shannon Smith, Kevin Carter, Michael Carter, and Adolph Hawkins.
Well, this big guy that catches at 82 is 6'6", 225, Nathan Krill.
Nice looking pass from Mr. Carter. Almost 2,000 yards on the season for Lamont Carter passing. He gives to Epperson, and Epperson gets to the right side, out close to midfield, stopped just short of the 50-yard line. Gain of almost 5. Well, I tell you, that gutsy call on 4th down can really boost your team up. You know, you gotta know that they are breathing a big sigh of relief that they didn't give the ball over on the 23.
Oh, I tell you what, if they had to turn that over, what a big call that would have been. But it was a gutsy call, and they feel like they're on a mission after that season they had last year.
2nd down and about 5. Carter back, rolls, looks, got a man wide open, and he slips down after making the catch right at the 1st down marker. That is number 88. Evan Kay for the Highlanders. He'll be very close to a 1st down. They may bring the chain out to check for that.
It looks like they're going to check it out again. For all your printing and copying needs, check out Gear Up Printing. Phone number is 827-8277.
It is enough for a 1st down. Hey, Hampton Chevrolet is active in the community and ask you to remember those less fortunate with a generous donation to the Daily Press Holiday Christmas Fund, or the Holiday Fund. Give generously to this Christmas fund at the Daily Press. 1st down at the Hampton 45-yard line.
That's just a pitch to their deep back, number 5, the tailback.
Mike Winfield, I'll do the play-by-play, you do the color.
I got to say something every now and then, keep you on your toes.
That's right.
They run that I formation for the most part. They're going to run out of that I formation. They split the backs. Normally they're going to pass.
That was Whitfield's 4th carry of the ball game.
Well, I'm glad you can read that, Tim. I couldn't read that if I had to.
5 total yards for Mr. Whitfield. Picked up a yard and a half on that play. Let's call it 2. 2nd down and 8 for the Highlanders. Controlling the ball here. Carter swings the pass out on the right side. He's got some running room. Lamont Hawkins had a shot at him. He is finally taken down at the 36-yard line.
And that's Hollier, number 42, over there to help make a stop. Darnell Hollier, another sophomore that has risen to the occasion and is really starting to play good football for these Hampton Crabbers. Brings up, what is that, 3rd down and short?
3rd down and about a yard to go for the Highlanders.
And that's just a wide split split end or flanker screen is what they run this time. And they get it out to the flanker and have a blocker in front and hope they can run him. And that was a clip that time that they missed.
Third down and about a yard. And they get the first down. Good surge by the right side of the offensive line for the Highlanders. And they are driving in Hampton territory with 5:37 remaining in a scoreless first half.
On that last play, the play before this one on that flanker screen, Tim, one of the Hampton Crabbers was trying to make a tackle, was hit from behind. No flag on the play, but it was clearly visible on a screen and a replay.
Now with a fresh set of downs at the Hampton 32-yard line. They were down this close before and came away with nothing. Hampton defense has been on the field a lot here in the first half. That is, again, number 33 carrying the ball, Dwayne Epperson.
Hollier and Baycoat in to combine to make the stop.
That was Epperson's 8th carry of the first half. He's got a total of 29 yards rushing so far. Chris Ricks leads the Crabbers 7 carries for 36 yards here in the first half. And hit at the line of scrimmage and downed was Epperson. An excellent initial contact by, I believe it was Donnie Green.
No, that was Perry.
Yep, I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. That's 70, not 75. William Perry in on the stop for the Crabbers. So far, the passing attack of the Highlanders has been very effective. 5 completions for a total of 73 yards here in the first half. Third down and 5 for the Highlanders. Crabbers need a stop here. We're inside of 4 minutes to go in the first half. On the delayed handoff, Epperson will not get back to the line of scrimmage.
It's a great job by the Crabbers. He was hoping with the success they have been having running or passing the ball that they could run that delay or that draw play. Did not fool the Crabbers. They were ready for it.
Mark Baycoat was there along with Eric Monroe, number 74, to make the stop for the Crabbers.
Well, Tim, that brings up a 3rd and long.
4th down.
I'm sorry, 4th and long, but you know they're going to go for it. They did down here at their 20, so.
4th down and about, let's call it 6 for the Highlanders. One lone setback. Highlanders in a passing formation. They fake the handoff. Levon Carter has some scrambling room. Throws got a man open and it's incomplete. Defending on the play for the Crabbers was Kamafi McKenzie, but the ball goes incomplete and the Crabbers stop the Highlanders on 4th and 6.
Well, that time Donnie Green had a shot at the quarterback, Tim, but with the footing, he made his move and just his feet slipped right out from under him as we watch on the replay. It's just a fake and a roll out to the right, and watch Green slip and fall down, and normally he's the man that's going to catch the quarterback.
That ball was on the mark, and it could have been caught, but of course it goes incomplete, so the Crabbers defense is able to hold with 3:04 remaining in the first half. They'll start from their 28-yard line. Ronald Curry rolling to his right, being chased, has a limited running room, and again trying to make an extra cut.
He tried to stop slip, it's what slid about a yard or two.
So Ronald Curry, taking matters in his own hands, carries the ball and picks up about 8 on the play.
Closer to 9 maybe.
Depending on where they mark the ball, so it's a 9-yard pickup for Ronald Curry. That's Curry's 3rd carry for 15 yards here in the first half. Check that 3rd for 29 yards, I should say.
It looked like Rick's on the handoff, I think. I'm not sure, but they're stopping the clock like he picked up the first down.
So the Crabbers do register the first down at their 40-yard line.
But, Tim, they've got all their timeouts left. They have not used any timeouts this half.
There you see the story of the first half. That's the time remaining in the first half. neither team has been able to score. We know the Highlanders have a good defense. They've only allowed 11 points a game. But the Crabbers equally strong on defense. So we have seen a defensive struggle, even though the Crabbers average better than 30 points a game on offense. They've been held scoreless here in the first half. Ronald Curry picks up good protection, throws long, and he has got Ahmad Hawkins out of the pattern just a little too long for Hawkins at the Highlander 30-yard line. There you see Ahmad returning to the huddle.
Well, Tim, again, and I'm not making excuses for these young men, but this field is not as firm as it used to, so it's going to make them a little bit slower. Ahmad had to stretch out to try to catch that ball. It was just to let him just a little bit, Ronald Curry did. But you would expect that on this kind of a field, that you're not going to get. There's Diane Limerick. Who'd you say she was, Tim?
She is not the athletic director.
She is the trainer.
Curry back to pass. Now feels some pressure and gets away from one would-be tackler. Stumbles, keeps his feet, still on his feet, across midfield to the 49-yard line. A first down.
Well, I tell you, he stumbled and fell and just maintained his balance, which was remarkable.
They get the ball out to the Highlander 48-yard line with 1:45 remaining in the second quarter.
And again, that's one of those situations where we talked about coming up, where it looked like he was caught in the backfield and got away.
Curry on the delayed handoff. Christopher Ricks, he is down to the 40-yard line of the Highlanders, a pickup of 9.
Hampton may call a timeout here, and that's exactly what they're going to do, Tim. Why not? You've got 3. Use one, stop the clock here. You've got...
All right, we're going to return to George Marshall High School for the balance of the first half after this brief timeout. There's our big man. There's Nick Moore, who's here. Down the field with Ron carrying the team. That set it for you now. 1:22 remaining in a scoreless first half. The Crabbers have the ball first down at the Highlanders 40-yard line. Both teams have moved the ball but have been unable to get into the scoring column. Crabbers have 2 timeouts remaining. The Highlanders have 1 here in the first half. In motion to the near side is Chris Ricks. Curry steps in and now is nailed for a loss back at the the Highlander 48-yard line, and Curry is shaken up on the play.
Well, that was number 5, Tim, coming in, and that's Michael Winfield, who normally plays the fullback spot, and Ronald Curry is slow getting up.
Now he will be attended to, but he will have, unless the Crabbers elect to use one of those 2 timeouts, he will have to come out of the ball game for one play. He looks like he just got his bell rung, but he got hit real hard. That was a fine defensive effort by the Highlanders to nail him, and that's something you just don't do very often. We talked about this on the way up here. You don't get a good clean shot at Ronald Curry.
Well, that linebacker shot the gap, Tim, and when Ronald Curry turned to set up, he was hit before he even got a chance to turn, which was very unusual. We got number 11 in there for the Crabbers.
That's the replay. Now watch right there, boom. I mean, he got nailed by Mike Winfield, and he did lose his footing a bit, but again, these Highlanders are a good defensive squad. And they got Ronald Curry, something that just hasn't happened all that often.
Well, that's number 11 for the Crabbers in there, Andre Jones, 5'8" senior.
And to my knowledge, he has not played it down this year.
Well, he may have in some of the games that we didn't see, but you're right. I don't. And you have most of the statistics that who the Pulitzer Prize winning writer Mike Keach.
At least. No, that's right. Mike Keach, Daily Press. And he is the only quarterback, Curry is, that has taken a snap from center this year for the Crabbers. So Jones called upon in this situation, and he fumbles the snap from the center. And it appears that the Crabbers will retain possession, but it'll be 4th down. So your greatest fear is here's a young man in a state semifinal game coming in and taking a snap from center on a muddy field, a slippery ball. So,
well, let me tell you one other thing. Who's your punter?
Ronald Curry.
Well, I also saw Darnell Hollier also was warming up punting the ball. We may see him punt the ball rather than Ronald Curry, because we don't know the status of Ronald.
Well, Ronald was out on the field, and as the timeout has been called, the final timeout for McLean here in the first half, Curry is on the field. Now, whether or not he has gotten his faculties back, I don't know. But we're assuming that he is not seriously injured and unable to continue, but he took a pretty good shot. But it looks like Curry will be in deep punt formation, and this is a benefit to the Crabbers that a timeout was called. It gives them that much more time to regain whatever he might need to regain.
That's right. Good point.
And last year, Zoom sponsored the first Eagle Award for academic excellence in athletics, and it plans to make the award again this year to the athlete with the highest GPA from each of the Hampton high school football teams. Coach would be great.
There's a defensive stats right up until now. They'll print one at halftime, right?
As the teams are just about set to go, we are getting a flood of help from the folks.
I tell you, we just can't ask for more help than we're getting up here at C.G. Marshall High School, and the staff has just really gone out of the way to help us and giving us enough room. And
defensive stats here, as Ron Curry is back in deep punt formation. Kevin White has 8 tackles and assists in the first half here to lead his team. Ronald Curry, it's a fake, and Curry slips down and will not get the first down as he barely got back to the line of scrimmage. And again, this treacherous footing allowed him not to be able to make the cut when he wanted to do it. So the Crabbers will give the ball over to the Highlanders. I want to call them Highland Springs, the Highlanders of McLean High School.
Well, they've got great field position.
But just 43 seconds and no timeouts remaining for the Highlanders. Levon Carter throws it up and it's picked off. Kenny Crawford has the interception. And he will return the ball to the 40-yard line of Hampton. So the second interception by the Hampton Crabbers thwarts any effort by the McLean team of getting a score here before halftime.
Well, I don't know how he came to look like about 12 people back there, white jerseys and red jerseys, going for the ball, and out come Kenny Crawford. That was a nice job by him. And you know, Hampton, they're not going to just sit on and run the clock out. We've said before, well, they'll run the clock out, go make some adjustments. But watch this. This is just the catch after he caught it, and you know, there's nowhere to go. But what's that yard mark, Tim? I'm
at the 40.
At the 40, okay. Man, I tell you, without you up here, I'd be floundering, which I normally am anyway, even with you here.
Both teams have expended their timeouts, so there are no timeouts remaining for either squad, as the Crabbers have taken their third and final one. Right up to the minute here, the statistics on the tackles. William Perry and Donnie Green lead the Crabbers with a total of 4 assisted and unassisted tackles. In the first half, as I mentioned a moment ago, Kevin White with a total of 8 and 1 sack registered. That was Mike Winfield, who shook up Ronald Curry on that sack just a little while ago. But Ronald Curry on the fake punt tried for the first down and didn't get it, but on the very next play,
well, he's in a shotgun formation, Tim. That's the first time I've seen that this year.
The Highlanders gave it right back. Curry has plenty of time, wants to throw long. He throws a bullet downfield. He's got Hawkins behind the defense. Hawkins is going to go in for a score.
Yo, what a pass. That's what Hampton should have done. I don't see any flags. Great. Tim, from the shotgun formation, Ronald Curry has a chance to see the defense, and young Mr. Hawkins has done the job all year for the Hampton Crabbers. What a beautiful catch, beautiful throw with 20 seconds.
That's just like the pass last week against Deep Creek. Hawkins on the dead run, right in his hands. You couldn't have thrown it any better. Last week the pass covered 60 yards. This one was not dissimilar to that at all, as Hawkins caught it at about the 10-yard line and raced in to make it 6-0. Shepard is the young man on to try the extra point. His kick is long enough, and it is through the uprights.
All right,
Shepard.
way to go. We had problems with the extra point last week, but we'll take it this week.
Here's the replay of the pass.
Just watch it, Tim. It's such a beautiful job being in the shotgun because Ronald Curry doesn't have to look and worry about people coming into him. And look at that. On the run.
On the run. Dead heat.
And here comes some of the coaching staff of the Crabbers going down, and I'm sure if I asked, they would have said, we called it.
But Ronald Curry, because of the footing, just hasn't been able to scramble or move around like he would. So really, this field condition has highly benefited McLean so far in the first half.
Well, the only play, they started off real deep in their end zone. I mean, at their end of the field, went for that fourth down from their 20 and moved the ball. But outside of that, they've had much better field position than the Crabbers today.
Just 20 seconds remaining in the first half. The Hampton Crabbers, a 60-yard pass to Ahmad Hawkins for the touchdown. Shepard's extra point has made it 7-0. And this kickoff goes out of bounds, and that will give the ball to the Highlanders at their 40-yard line.
At 35.
35.
You always want to make it 40.
Always want to do that.
I don't know why, because you watch too many pro games, I think. And there's a good shot of Carl Buckwalter and his father right there in the center of your screen. I believe his name is Hal.
Real quickly, the Crabbers in the first half are 71 yards rushing, 60 yards passing. The only pass completion for Curry was that touchdown.
Well, that's the one that counts, doesn't it?
You're right. Rick Smith, 9 carries for 48 yards, and Ronald Curry, 6 carries for 20.
You think we're in a prevent? Ronald Curry must be 40 yards from the line of scrimmage. And that's what we just saw, the official, that's called illegal procedure on the kickoff. Of course, the McLean team just said, we don't want it. We want the ball at the hash mark.
Well, as it turns out, they would have gotten it at the 35 with the illegal procedure, but it's further than the 35. They get it at the 37.
Well, we'll take it there.
But no timeouts remaining. Carter very well may want to throw one up and see if someone can run underneath it.
Well, we got Ronald Curry deep playing center field.
Carter back, fakes the short pass, gets some pressure, gets away, has some running room now. And the Crabbers will give him this running room because he won't get out of bounds and he won't get a first down, and that will probably be the last play of the first half. He did not get to the yard marker. Now he stops the clock with 2
Donnie Green, one of the tacklers still.
Well, I take that back. He did get enough for the first down, so he got 11 yards.
Well, they got 2 seconds.
Yep. But they'll crank the clock as soon as the ball is ready, and they may, yes they do. They get one last play away before the end of the first half. He throws up a prayer. Baycoat has a beat on it and pulls it in, yes or no?
Yes, he did. He caught it and then went out of bounds, Mark Baycoat.
All right, so 3 interceptions in the first half by the Hampton Crabbers. A 60-yard toss to Ahmad Hawkins. And at halftime, our score, the Hampton Crabbers 7, the McLean Highlanders no score. We'll return to Falls Church for the conclusion of the ball game, the third quarter, after this brief timeout.
You're watching WHCS Cable Channel 5. Educational television for our community of learners.
There you see the Hampton football team warming up here as the third quarter is just a short time away from resuming. The halftime statistics for the 2 squads, and again we want to thank Alex Grimm for giving us every imaginable statistic that one could wish for, and we'll give you even more than we have on the screen. In the first half, for the 2 squads, there you see the first downs. Hampton had 5 and McLean had 7. 18 rushes for 71 yards for Hampton, 35 yards on 16 carries for McLean. Passing passing yards, 60 yards for Ronald Curry. That was that one pass completion. 73 yards for McLean. An average gain per play, the Crabbers 6.2 yards per play, 3.9 for McLean. Return yards, Hampton 54, McLean 11. Neither team lost a fumble, although each team fumbled once in the first half. At least 2 for 18 yards against Hampton, only 1 for 5 yards against McLean. And there you see time of possession, 2/3 of the 14 minutes for McLean, about 10 minutes for Hampton in the first half. Individual statistics for both of these teams. The Hampton Crabbers were paced by Chris Ricks, who carried 9 times for 48 yards. Ronald Curry 6 for 20, and you throw in a sack and another time when he slipped and lost his footing. Not a bad effort by Curry in the first half. And then Smith carried twice for 4 yards. Epperson, the leading carrier for the McLean Highlanders, 10 carries for 28. Carter had 2 for 12, and Whitfield 3 tries for 5 yards. Curry 1 of 3 for 60. In the passing department, of course, that 60-yarder was the big one to Ahmad Hawkins for the only touchdown in the first half. Carter threw 5 of 12 for 73 yards, but he was picked off 3 times. The final of the final play of the first half for the Hampton Crabbers. Speaking of those, the pickoffs, the interception was Ahmad Hawkins had one. He returned it for 21 yards. Kenny Crawford intercepted one for 12. And then Mark Baycoat caught that interception right at the end of the first half and fell out of bounds. So the Crabbers with 3 INTs in the first half. On the receiving end, Ahmad Hawkins 1 catch for 60 yards. For McLean, Evan Kay had 3 catches for 45. Nathan Krill 1 for 22, and Dave Costello 1 for 7 for the Highlanders. So I think we've got all the statistics out of the way.
You got more statistics. You've never had that many since we've been doing the games. Tim, Darnell Hollier is kicking off for the Crabbers to start this second half, and we saw him last week really boot one, and here we go.
This is a rolling end-over-ender taken by McLean at about the 15-yard line. All the way out to the 26-yard line. That was number 10, Maj Zabi, number 10 for McLean.
And the first one to hit him was McKenzie, number 7 for the Crabbers.
So McLean will have the ball at their 25.5, almost 26-yard line to start the second half.
Well, let's see what kind of adjustments both coaches made as the McLean comes out in that I formation.
In motion is Whitfield to the near side. The handoff goes to Epperson. Lane Epperson for a couple of yards, maybe 3 or 4. Hey, Zoom Sitco continues to support and acknowledge academic excellence in our schools, and last year presented the Eagle Award, which recognizes Hampton City School athletes for their academic achievements. Again, Zoom Sitco with 5 convenient Hampton locations. Gain of about 4 on the play, second down and 6 for the Highlanders. And again, Whitfield goes in motion to the near side. And again, the handoff right in the belly of Epperson, and Epperson gets maybe a yard or 2. It'll bring up a third down and about 4 for the Highlanders.
Well, if you need any legal help, as there are some good people to get a hold of, and that's Steve Forbes and Mark Broadwell. They are attorneys at law located at 1 East Queensway in Hampton. They are my lawyers. That's who I go to.
Third down and about 4 for the Highlanders.
Big play to beginning the second half. You want to try to make sure you get the pick up the yardage, and it looks like they did. Baycoat.
Evan Kay for the first down.
A nice job by Mark Baycoat stopping the ball carrier out, the receiver after he got it, but he did get first down. We will pick up player from the game from both teams. From the Hampton Crabbers. Receive a shirt and a plaque. The plaque comes from Buckwaller Engraving, and the shirt comes from the Highlander Hardware and Sporting Goods.
10:05 remaining here in the third quarter.
That's Islander, not Highlander.
Yeah, the Highlander. Epperson this time comes in motion. And the handoff this time goes to Whitfield. And backfield picks up about 3 out to the Highlander 45-yard line.
Well, it looks like what the McLean Highlanders are trying to do, Tim, is trying to establish a running game and then hoping that will open up their pass.
Gain of 3 on that last play, 2nd down and 7 as the Highlanders have taken the third quarter kickoff now and have run a little better than 3 minutes off the clock. This is Whitfield, and Whitfield is chased as he tries to turn the left end. He does get out close to midfield, which would be very close to a first down. It looks like he may have gone out of bounds shy of the first.
Well, it looked like there was a Crabber that had a shot at him in the backfield, but Tim, you cannot make a cut that you normally do on this soft field. You got to lower your center of gravity even more than you normally do. Watch the replay. It's just a pitch around the left side.
So it does bring up a 3rd down and a short 3 for McLean. They need to get to the Hampton 49-yard line. This is Epperson. Epperson has the corner, and he will be far enough downfield to get a first down. Dragged out of bounds as Amon Hawkins and Ronald Curry were over there. And the carry by Epperson is enough for the Highlanders to get the first down. Well, 46.
Looks like during the watch the replay, Tim, but evidently they saw during halftime that they figured they could get outside of Hampton because of this field. The Crabbers have been burned twice to the outside.
Fresh to the downs for McLean. 9:05 left here in the third. Over the middle, the big man got the pass, and he gives it up to Football. Who's got it?
And Hampton come over the fumble. That's Kenny Crawford, number 12, Tim. What a hit. I didn't see who put the hit on him, did you?
No, perhaps if we could get a replay on that, we'll pick it up. But we'll get the very last part of this play, and you'll see the ball come loose. And let's see if we can pick up who made the stop. It was Kenny Crawford who came up with the ball.
Go, Big Nate, let's go!
So 4th turnover.
42 is that what Scotty said? If that was, that's Darnell Hollier. He's a hitter.
The Crabbers now recipients of 4 turnovers. Curry wants to throw. He is being pressured, and he is down for a loss. Ronald Curry sacked. And a couple of Highlanders are down and slow to get up, and those are 2 very key players. One is 82 Krill, who is a big, important part of the offensive team.
Well, I think what happened, Tim, was they hit each other.
Well, the other young man is Dorian Cass, number 75. He is apparently okay, but Krill is still down and being attended to. We'll get a chance to pick up this replay. We'll see Curry will be trying to evade. Watch the contact between Krill and Cass here, and you're going to see them make contact with each other.
And on a dry field, he probably would have gotten away.
So Krill is still down and being attended to, and Ronald Curry sacked for a loss on the play. Considerable loss, I should add, an 8-yard loss for the Hampton Crabbers. If you joined us late, the Hampton Crabbers lead 7-0 here in the third quarter, their first possession of the second half. And Krill limping as he comes off the field. Hopefully for the Highlanders, he'll be able to return. He is a very important part of their overall scheme. He obviously plays both sides of the ball.
Well, this time of year, if you need any printing, your printing jobs get all the attention it deserves at Gear Up Printing. They are located at 1909 North Armstead Avenue.
Curry over center. Ricks goes in motion to the far side. On the handoff. Stumbling forward for the Hampton Crabbers. That is number 32.
That's Smith. Daryl Smith, yeah.
Smith, had he been able to maintain his balance, might have gotten a big gainer as he looked like he had some running room. Here we'll get a chance to see it again. And he just stumbled forward, but of course to his benefit, he did get up and get positive yardage out of it.
Hampton now is back in that shotgun formation.
Gain of about 5. It is 3rd down and 13 for Hampton. Ricks in motion to the right. Curry, a lot of time, now feels the pressure. And he throws, he's got Blizzard open, he's got the ball at midfield.
What a nice catch by Bobby Blizzard. Had to adjust to the ball, Tim. Whoa, what nice hands this young man has got.
That's the first pass to Blizzard in the ball game here in the 3rd quarter. His first attempt to Bobby Blizzard. Get a chance to watch it again.
Of course, we got to see his brother play basketball at Hampton. This young man not only plays football, but is also a good basketball player. But you can see those hands. Nice job, camera people.
So first down, Hampton Travelers at the 49-yard line of McLean. Again, Chris Ricks in motion, and a penalty flag goes down. I didn't see motion from either one of the teams.
I didn't either. I don't know what happened. It looked like something from the defense. I see the Crabbers are applauding Tim, so maybe a defensive man got in or lined up in the neutral zone.
And that would be the call. Encroachment would be the call on the defense. By the way, we want to mention we were unable to get our referee, Mr. Broadhurst, to wear a mic today. Not that he was being uncooperative by any means, but he was not used to doing so and felt that it might inhibit his ability to call a good game. He was just as excited about his game as most people. Here's a big play for the Crabbers. It's a foot race. Smith all the way down inside the 10-yard line.
What a night. Again, that's that quick trap that the Crabbers have success with. We saw that when he picked up 150 yards against Granby, and then last week against Deep Creek, Smith had some good yardage on that particular play. In fact, scored, I believe, didn't he?
Exactly, sure did. All right, we'll get a chance to see this again. You're just going to see the quick hitter. The hole is there, and Smith is into the backfield of the Highlanders, and one man to stop him, but not until he is down at the 8-yard line, 1st and goal.
And we want to thank Jerome Young for being our slow motion person today. Slow-mo Jerome.
This is Chris Ricks, and Ricks is tripped up as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. He may have gotten a yard or two. And again, that area of the field is real soft. In fact, there is no real firm footing on this field, but that's one of the worst areas. We saw Ronald Curry ended up on the seat of his pants in a punt formation.
It looked like the yard marker was moved about 1.5 yards to 2 yards.
Let's call it 2nd and goal at the 6.
Kenny Jackson wide to the left.
Now Winfield, anticipating the snap, is in the Hampton backfield, and if it is against the Highlanders, it'll be half the distance to about the 3.
And that may have been one of those jobs where Mike Smith, he will do that off cadence count or the hard count or whatever, but draw the defense offside, and a great job. Looks like, what's that, about would you say 3?
Yeah, it's at the 3-yard line, 2nd down and goal. Ronald Curry returning to the huddle after getting the signal, the call rather, from Mike Smith and the coaching staff. Now the Crabbers, with some question about the call, elect to call a timeout with 5:36 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Crabbers leading 7-0 and threatening.
Well, when you get to that point, Tim, you don't want to make a mistake. You're on the 3-yard line. You got a 2nd down. You want to get the score. You get 2 scores here. That really puts a lot of pressure on this McLean team, especially if they want to come out the second half and establish the run. Well, the run, as you know, will run the points, run time off the clock, and it's not easy to score on the run as easy as it is on the pass, except if you're Hampton and you got somebody like Smith that'll pop it through the middle.
And McLean has that kind of breakaway speed, so the Crabbers have to be aware of that. But you're right, a 2nd score here would really put the Highlanders in a deep hole.
So I'm kind of situating you so I can see out the door too, Tim. Move over just a, there you go, there you got it.
All right, the Crabbers now 2nd down and goal at the 3-yard line, leading 7-0. The only score coming with 20 seconds remaining in the first half on a 60-yard touchdown pass from Curry to Hawkins. Ronald Curry over center, gives Ricks, and Ricks is nailed for no gain.
And that's Carter, the quarterback, shot that gap.
Tim Carter looked like he knew the play.
I was talking to one of the officials up here in the press box, and he said last week West Potomac played up here. They're 6 miles down the road, and he said they didn't have half the people that the Hampton Crabbers brought with them up here. So our hats go off to the loyal fans of the Hampton Crabbers.
Well, loyal and Crabbers are synonymous words. All right, 3rd and goal at the 5. Might look for a rollout by Curry, and Curry does, but he's grabbed and he will not get yardage. Ronald Curry never got untracked. In on the stop amongst others was Jason Duffy, number 22. And again, the McLean team shot the gap and never allowed Curry to even get down the line of scrimmage.
Well, they do that a lot. They will shoot the gap with their linebackers, try to disrupt the blocking and the offensive flow in that backfield. As who is that bringing into play? Looks like Ahmad Hawkins.
Looks like Hawkins bringing into play. Crabbers have got to hustle now or they'll get caught by the huddle clock. 4th down and goal. Curry on the option, pitches to Ricks. Ricks trying to get to the corner. He will score.
Oh, nice call by the coaching staff, and Ricks is still running out. What a nice, that's that option play. Get outside, give it to your speedster.
An excellent call. The Crabbers, you would have almost expected a pass because 3 consecutive rushes with negative yardage on each play. And then the Crabbers said, okay, you think we're going to pass? No, we're not. We're going to go around the end. Got good seal blocking on the right end. The offensive line did their usual good job. And it was an easy jaunt into the end zone for Chris Ricks from 7 yards out.
We will be in attempt, and that's Shepard in to attempt the point after.
Shepard's kick is partially blocked. It will not make it to the goalpost, so it will go as a no-good extra point try. But the Crabbers have been able now to add to their total as Chris Ricks has scored from 7 yards out. Here's the replay. Chris Ricks along the far right end, and he just kept on running to halfway to Fairfax.
Well, I tell you what, Tim, it's so soft over there after you get through the end zone that he wasn't going to try to stop quickly. He waited till he got on the track where he knew that he'd be able to stop without slipping.
The big play in that drive was the run by Darrell Smith, who has added to his total now and has 4 carries for 45 yards.
By number 75, Dorian Cass.
Smith in the first half had 2 carries for 4 yards. So in the second half now, he has added 41 yards to his totals, and more importantly, has helped his team get a 2-touchdown lead, 13-0, with 4:13 remaining in the third quarter.
And Darnell Hollier again will kick off. We was hoping to get Kurt Newsom, the Kickotan coach, to talk with us some after the second half, but he unavailable. I know he would love to have this Hollier. He had another Hollier at Kickotan. This young man has got a nice, done a nice job for the Crabbers. I'm sorry.
End over end, and now out to the 34-yard line, where the McLean Highlanders will start.
Well, let's see if the coaching staff for the Highlanders have changed their philosophy a little bit. They came out the beginning, the first series, and they was running the ball well, threw a couple passes, had a nice pass to their tight end, but Hollier hit him and knocked the ball loose, and Crawford came up with it. So let's see what they're going to try to do. We have a officials timeout here for a second.
Hampton Chevrolet is a locally owned business and strongly believes in supporting the community which it serves. At this time of the year, they urge you to remember those less fortunate. Give the United Way or to the Daily Press Christmas Fund. Over the middle, the pass is complete. The recipient is 87, Doug Sterling, but a first down for the Highlanders.
There are 2 offensive men where that ball was thrown, which is very unusual. I don't know if that was planned routes or just to help confuse the things, but 2 Highlanders were in the same area.
Here's the replay. There you see the big, tall receivers that Carter has to throw with. Sterling making the grab, his first catch of the ball game. First down at the McLean 47. Again, pass incomplete. This time the intended receiver was Dave Costello, and again he appeared to be open for a moment.
Well, also defending, Hampton had a short man, Baycoat, and the deep man on that Ahmad Hawkins were the two defenders. Ahmad Hawkins had a chance for the ball, but it was a little low for him.
Second down and 10 on the incomplete pass, stopping the clock with 3:25 remaining in the third quarter. Tim Cole and Bob Hinson, the Channel 5 crew, bringing you this, the Group AAA Division 5 State Semifinal Championship game. The winner of this game will play for the state championship next Saturday afternoon. Up the middle, this is Epperson, and Epperson is dragged down by Ronald Curry, but not before he gets across midfield into Hampton territory.
Very similar to the play that they use with Ricks. Hampton uses a sprint draw, and that's exactly what they use with Epperson.
He gallops for 19 yards on the draw. First down for McLean.
33-yard line as we watch the replay here.
Coming right at you.
And Ronald Curry wrapped up Epperson, but not before Epperson gets the first down at the Hampton 34-yard line. So Carter has the McLean Highlanders on the move. Carter back, fakes the short pass, throws left line swing pass to Epperson, and Epperson picks up about 3 yards on the play. Play looked like it was going to gain more than it did, but they started so far in the backfield that he ends up getting maybe 3 on the play.
Well, that was Kenny Crawford, who has just come alive and has been doing a great job both offensively and defensively for the Crab. And I don't mean just, I mean he's just gotten better every game, as all these Crabbers are. They seem to be peaking at the right time.
Gain of a little more than 2. Let's call it second down and 8 for McLean. The pitch to Epperson, and Epperson cuts inside of one would-be tackler and then is nailed as he gets a couple of yards.
Johnny Green was one of the tacklers, but right there to meet him head on, Darnell Hollier. Tim is having a great game defensively for the Crabbers.
And Ahmad Hawkins also in on the stop.
3 yards on the play.
So a gain of about 3. Let's call it third down and about 4.
Linebacker Darnell Hollier.
A long 4 for McLean.
To a 3-yard pickup.
Inside of 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Hampton leading 13-0. Rolling, looking, and a pressure put on Carter. He completes the pass. Again, that's Evan Kay, number 88, who makes the grab for the Highlanders.
Ronald Curry saw the pass, was made to break for it, but couldn't get there in time for the interception, made the stop.
Catch on the 16-yard line.
So they mark the ball at the Hampton 16. So the Highlanders are moving and threatening. This is their deepest penetration. Here's the replay.
13 yards on the catch.
And Levon Carter enjoying some success here in the third quarter. They were moving the ball earlier when they fumbled. The handoff to Epperson, and Epperson tries the middle of the line for a couple.
Epperson goes up the middle this time.
Clock moving. We will be at the 1 minute mark here in about 5 seconds.
The defenders converge on him.
A beautiful afternoon here in Falls Church. Temperature at game time in the upper 50s. A pretty stiff breeze, but not too bad a day all considered.
No, it sure isn't.
3 yards on carry to Epperson, making
Second down and 7 as the ball is marked at the Hampton 13. Carter rolling to his right, looking down in the end zone, wants to throw, feels some pressure from the Crabbers. Now throws up for grabs. The ball is tipped and incomplete. Ahmad Hawkins had his hands on the ball, and in bringing it down, bounced it off of his own leg and incomplete.
He had a great shot for that ball, but that was good defensive coverage that time by the Crabbers, and that was a fake on the handoff and a roll to the right as we watch the replay. Carter does a great job of rolling, and he just can't get anybody open, and he tries to force the ball in there. Nice job, camera people.
Good chance by Hawkins to make the interception. He just couldn't haul it down. So now it's third down and 7 at the Hampton 13. Hampton trying to reach the state championship round. With a victory here, can do it. And Carter is going to get the pass away. Gets it away to Epperson right at the last second. But Epperson will be dragged down by Mark Baycoat and Donnie Green, shy of the first down.
I don't know how Carter got that ball off, Tim. I thought for sure they had him sacked.
I mean, he did just get it away, and they had the presence of mind to find Dwayne Epperson.
Well, you know, not only find Dwayne Epperson, but with all the defensive linemen there, you found one that had the right number, and that is the end of the third quarter.
The time has expired here in the third quarter, and the Hampton Crabbers have added to their lead. They led 7-0 at halftime, and a 7-yard run by Chris Ricks has made it 13-0 as we move to the fourth and final quarter.
We do want to thank the Highlander Hardware and Sporting Good in Poquoson and Buckwalder's Engraving in Hampton for their help in allowing us to pick a player of the game from the Hampton Crabbers this afternoon. And you got some instant statistics.
They'll be coming at me here in just a minute.
I mean, not only do they have them at the end of the quarter, they bring them to you printed and everything, don't they? You're going to get spoiled.
I am spoiled. I have been spoiled. Through three quarters, the Crabbers have rushed 25 times for 109 yards, 24 carries, one less carry, and only 79 yards for the Highlanders. Passing yardage still finds the Crabbers trailing in that department. They have an 88 to 128 for the Highlanders. And again, the fine folks here are giving me more than I need.
More than you can digest.
More than I can digest.
Good thing it's not food.
Chris Ricks with the touchdown in the third quarter. That was officially ruled to be a 6-yard touchdown run.
After the game, get your Christmas tree out.
And we most definitely want to thank Mike Campbell for all of his assistance in our setting up to bring you today's state semifinal championship game. Fourth quarter is set to get underway.
And we got a fourth down.
Fourth down and 9 for the Highlanders. A big play here for the Highlanders as they need desperately to get a first down. Levon Carter, short drop, feels some pressure, rolls, looks, throws, and it is incomplete. Last touch by a Hampton Crabber. Looked like Kenny, check that, Hollier got a hand on it. Darnell Hollier, 42, not 12 Crawford, and the Crabbers are able to hold on fourth down. That's the second time that the Highlanders have gone for a fourth down conversion, and this time they come up on the short edge. Check that third time. They converted on one of them.
Right. Well, Tim, that time Hollier does a good job from his linebacker spot, dropping back into the zone coverage and taking away the short pass, and there's just too many Crabbers there for the Carter to find his receiver.
So the Crabbers defense once again allows yardage up and down the field, but when it gets down inside the red zone, they come up big. Chris Ricks in motion. Curry on the delayed handoff to Smith. Smith has big yardage. He's into the open. He's got one man to get by, and he is still on his feet and fumbles the ball. And it looks like the Crabbers may have recovered it. They do, in fact, recover it at the Highlander 45-yard line.
Smith.
Where did that extra player come from that was deep back there, Tim? All of a sudden there was another player there.
Ball ends up on the ground.
Daryl Smith gets a break as he was. Here's the replay. We're going to watch Daryl Smith now as he gets to the outside. And then he is on his way. There's one man to get by, and then he is hit right there and coughs the ball forward.
But a good hustle by the Crabbers.
Well,
Tim, I didn't see who come up with the ball, but
great downfield blocking by the Crabbers. You know, they don't just let these running backs get into the open as we've got a timeout on the field.
And while we got this timeout, we do want to thank our sponsors for their help. We want to thank the Lifeline Fitness Center, which urges you to get your body in shape. They are located at 1816 Todd's Lane. And Tom Gear and Gear Up Printing has been instrumental in the recent establishment of the new Honors Park, honoring the police officers in our community who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Third quarter statistics.
We have 11:43 remaining in the fourth quarter, or I guess I could use the term regulation time. The Crabbers with 2 touchdowns, one a 60-yard pass to Amon Hawkins, the other a 6-yard run from Chris Ricks, and one of 2 extra point tries. They lead 13-0, and they've got the ball in McLean territory. They are at the McLean 45-yard line after the big run by Smith, Darrell Smith, with the big run a moment ago. I formation, double wide receivers to the near side. Jackson along with Blizzard, and now flags are down. Saw motion on the defensive side of the line. Let's see if they were pulled off or they jumped off.
No, they did come off, Tim. There was the wide man all the way over to the top, stepped into the neutral zone.
And that's the call. Encroachment will be the penalty against the Highlanders. So the Crabbers got things going their way now.
Well, I tell you, as this sun gets down further and further, it shines off of this plexiglass. I can't wait to see this game at home where I can see without all that look like I'm looking through cataracts.
I'll tell you, the home side of this field has the sun right in their eyes where we are, and it's a little tough. Hope you're enjoying our coverage here on Channel 5. The pitch to Chris Ricks, and Ricks wants to turn the corner, puts his head down, bowls over Mike Winfield, and gets positive yardage down to about the 40.
Swings to the right side, and he smashes into a couple of defenders and picks up some good yardage.
First down for the Crabbers, all the way down inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Here's the replay. You'll see Chris Ricks, and again, it's a race to the corner. Whitfield had a shot at him, but Ricks gets the first down.
Well, Tim, that is no more than just that option play that Ronald Curry is just pitching to Ricks and let him use that speed on the outside.
Ricks in motion to the near side, and now Curry will call a timeout as he looks at the defense and sees something he did not like.
Well, it's either he didn't like something or they was going to try to draw him offside again, because he knows the defense has got to be anxious and they want to jump in and they want to disrupt the flow, and that could be very well what they were trying to do. And of course, when that happens, that really hurts the psyche of that defense. All of a sudden, you are sitting back on your heels rather than ready to take off.
Hey, the role of the parent is paramount in the education process, and Hampton Chevrolet encourages parents to get involved. Join your school's PTA tomorrow. Can't do it today because today's Sunday or Monday. Could be any one of those days since we replay this thing until everybody gets a chance to say.
There you go.
Also, I want to remind you that Zooms is a community leader in promoting academic excellence. David Allen and Zooms were honored by the Hampton School Board recently for its role in presenting the Eagle Award to student athletes. We congratulate Zoom Sitco for their support across the board in the Hampton City School System.
Well, Tim, I want to thank Dave Buckwalter has been helping us pick a player of the game ever since we've been doing it. We came into the stadium the same time he did, and he came up here to see this game for two reasons. He wanted to see the Hampton Crabbers play, and he wants to try to get up with Coach Carl Buckwalter to see if there's any relation there.
I notice things must not be going well for Dave Buckwalter driving that brand new Porsche.
Oh, that yellow Porsche, you can sure see it.
Gracious. Ricks in motion. Curry feels the pressure, and he will be sacked all the way back to midfield.
Nobody picked up 22, Tim, and just shot the gap. Came in there, that's Jason Duffy.
Jason Duffy.
11th grader, 5'8", 150, a lot of speed.
A huge sack of Ronald Curry all the way back to the McLean 48-yard line. Here it is. You'll see Curry. He's not going to pick up Duffy. Duffy is coming from, there you see the right side, and Curry, by the time he sees him, he has no chance at all.
Well, that's something not many people have done this year, and that is to catch Ronald Curry and throw him for a loss.
Let me tell you, Ronald Curry doesn't look like he feels real well today. He doesn't look like himself at all. The pitch to Ricks. Ricks cuts inside of some good blocking, gets down close to the 40-yard line.
It looked like he was doing some hurdling, too.
Yeah, there is some hitting going on. Our director says there's some popping going on. And McLean, hey, they didn't get here in 12-0 from being a soft team. These guys play hard.
Well, that brings up a 3rd and long.
3rd down, and well, let's see. They got to get. Where do they have to get? All the way down to about the 23-yard line. So it's 3rd down and about 19. As we appreciate the scoreboard clock keeper here is keeping us apprised of where the ball is. It's very difficult for us to pick it up. Curry feeling the pressure. Gets away from one, gets away from another, and finally goes down at the 42-yard line, but it'll be 4th and long for the Crabbers.
Well, you have to take your hat off to McLean, Tim. They are doing a great job of putting pressure onto Ronald Curry. They're shooting linebackers, and they're getting back there before he gets a chance to set up. And with the field the way it is, Ron Curry does not have the dry field when able to make the cuts that he is really noted for. And of course, that puts him in deep punt formation.
Crabbers taking a lot of time here, not in any hurry at all. In fact, they wouldn't even mind a 5-yard delay of game if it occurs. They just want that clock to wear itself out. Curry will get the kick away. It's a short kick, and it's a good kick because it will not afford a return by McLean.
And it looks like it's close to the inside the 15. Am I correct in assuming that?
I believe you are correct. It looks to be in the area of the 13-yard line. We'll wait and see where they spot it exactly, but excellent kick for effect. It was not a pretty kick. It was ugly.
Who cares how pretty if you got great results, huh?
Exactly. The ball is on the 11-yard line, so that's beautiful if you're a Hampton Crabber. But I'll tell you one thing I've noticed, Bob, there is no quitting in this McLean team. They have come out here, and regardless of the fact of the Hampton tradition and all of the press that Hampton gets, McLean has played tough football this afternoon, and they have stuck in this game. They're still in it. Levon Carter back to pass, has time over the middle, got a man open and completes the pass. And these guys look to be about 8 foot tall. Their receivers are huge.
He is big.
Krill is 6'6", but even the other receivers look to be the same height, although they're not quite as tall as Krill. That's enough for a first down as they will move the chains. Krill on the afternoon has 3 catches for 53 yards. And again, the pass, and again, the completion, and again, the same receiver. That is, again, Nathan Krill.
Well, that was Darnell Hollier along with Derek White making the stop, but he is so big, they're just throwing the ball up and letting him go up and get it. Maybe you want to hit him and hold him up at the line of scrimmage.
And the Highlanders going without any huddle. Levon Carter, and Carter still on his feet, finally taken out of bounds, but again, very close to another first down. It will be a first down. Over on the near sidelines to make the tackle for Hampton was number 7. That is McKenzie, along with Donnie Green. But again, the Highlanders with a first down at their 41-yard line. There you can see the soft mud and grass stuck in the helmets of some of the players. Got a bounce play, stopped the clock with 8:08 remaining. Hampton leading 13-0. Trying to host the state championship game next week in Newport News at Todd Stadium. This is Winfield, and Winfield gets out of bounds, stopping the clock with 8:01 remaining after a short gain.
Well, that was supposed to be that trap draw right up the middle, Tim, and Crabbers had it. Defense real good. He had to bounce it out to the outside, and of course he got out of bounds, which stops the clock. And if you're McLean, you want that clock to go as slow as you can.
Without a huddle. McLean, of course, could have taken the time to have a huddle that time, with the clock stopping with the out-of-bounds play. Intended receiver downfield slipped. Gee, imagine that.
I can't understand why.
Evan Kay is laying on his back. He almost came up with the pass nonetheless. Kay has had a great afternoon. 5 catches for 66 yards. Krill with 4 for 60. 1 catch for Sterling, 1 for Epperson, and 2 for Costello. Or rather, the other way around, 2 for Epperson and 1 for Costello. 3rd down and 8 for the Highlanders at their own 44-yard line. Levon Carter, short drop, throws into coverage, and is intercepted.
Who was that?
Hollier, once again, Darnell Hollier. That's the 4th interception of the afternoon for the Crabbers.
And that young man, has he picked off 2?
I believe he has. Let's go to my stats here. They had 3 at halftime, did the Crabbers. Watch the replay. I got more pages of statistics than I have.
I don't know how you can find it. You got more paper over there than you got at home.
Now, let's see. I got one here that tells me who made all the grabs. Here it is. No, Hoyer did not have one in the first half, so that's his first interception. Hawkins has one, Hoyer has one, Baycoat and Crawford each have one. So 4 Crabbers have 4 interceptions. And now the Crabbers will just try and grind it out as Chris Ricks tries the right side, gets into Highlander territory just across the midfield stripe.
Well, that young man is running real hard, Tim. He is just accelerating as he hits that line of scrimmage.
Gain of 10 on the play.
Watch it. Look at that.
Watch the hole that he has to run through. That offensive line is making a big path for the running back. Crabbers, 1st and 10. This is Ricks, and Ricks is dropped.
The fumble, but a Hampton Crabber came up with it, Tim.
Yeah, guess who? Donnie Green. Donnie Green right on the ball as Ricks did cough it up after picking up a yard. The Green very alertly recovered it for Hampton.
We got an official's timeout here. I think they're going to measure for whether he picked up that first down or not. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep. I thought I stand corrected earlier on the last run by Ricks. I said it was a first down. It was not a first down. Now this will be the measurement. The clock is stopped with 6:27 remaining in the 4th quarter. Hampton leading 13-0, and they'll come up about 2 feet, almost a yard short of the first down. However, it is only 2nd down.
Oh, is that 2nd down or 3rd down, Tim? I believe it'd be 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Should be 3rd.
So they just haven't flipped the down marker yet.
Exactly correct. 3rd down now. Had a chance to talk with another one of the fine writers at the Daily Press, Mike Holzclaw.
Oh, you mean there's other people down there besides Keach? He doesn't do it all?
Well, Keach has many times said he is the sports department.
Oh, Keach is the only one that pays you. Oh, thanks, Scotty. I appreciate that.
Let's not be hasty here. I think I can get more guys on the payroll. The official.
6:44, I think he wants on the clock. 6:44.
6:44. Okay, we've got. I almost strangled the timekeeper that came by and got him with my cord.
You tried to hang him, but.
All right, we're set to go now. 6:43 is the time remaining officially, and they crank up the clock, and it doesn't start. Clock is supposed to. There it goes.
There it goes. He had to wait that second, Tim.
3rd down and less than a yard. The pitch. Chris Ricks has got the first down and then some as he is driven out of bounds. But he is into Highlander territory. Mike Whitfield in on the stop for the Highlanders. And it will be another first down. We're going to return to Jimmy Miller Stadium on the campus of George Marshall High School with the conclusion of our game after a brief timeout. And we have flags down as we return to Falls Church, Virginia. Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz bringing you the championship, the semifinals championship game. And now we've got delay of game against the Crabbers and a loss of down.
I don't understand that. Well, both hands behind the head. This is the first down.
This is Chris Ricks coming right at you.
It's got to have both hands behind the head to be a loss of down, Tim. I don't know what the one hand behind means. A loss of down and delay a game is what I've been told up here.
Well, that's curious, and I think Mike Smith has asked the official to explain why there would be a loss of down. I have never seen a loss of down on a delay of game penalty.
I don't either. That's something new to me. Maybe I can find out from up here in the press box.
Now, unsportsmanlike against Hampton, so somebody didn't like that call either. You see Mike Smith in the middle of your screen. He wants the official to come over. He'd like an explanation.
Well, they just gave a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct against the Crabbers. Don't know what's going on, but the Crabbers are going the wrong direction.
Mike Smith, there you can see in the picture, Mike Smith with referee Broadhurst. Mike wants an explanation. I won't even start to speculate, but I am not aware of all the rules, obviously, but I don't recall ever seeing a loss of down attached to a delay of game.
Well, the only time I know that you have a loss of down is on offensive pass interference. I know you have a loss of down, but I don't know.
And a delayed game for 5, and that's sports you like for 50.
Right, but why would you have a loss of down? Well, he was indicating one thing, but there had what is one hand behind him? All right, well, in any event, it seems to be cleared up. It is not a loss of down, but there are consecutive penalties here. There's a 5-yard delay of game followed by a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct call. But the down is still first down. So our confusion of the signal.
Yeah, they didn't lose the down, but the official now is over on this side talking to Carl Buckwalder, letting him know what is going on.
In any event, it is first down and 30 for the Crabbers. Had been first and 10, and so the 5 and the 15-yard penalties back them up 20. 6:28 remaining in the fourth quarter. Crabbers up by 13-0. Chris Ricks into the open. And Chris Ricks gets all the way back down to the 42-yard line. Picks up about 18.
He's just got to pick up the same yardage 2 times. How do you build your stats? Well, you pick up a lot of yardage, and then you get penalized again, and then you go back and pick it up again. Being facetious, of course.
Chris Ricks has been very productive this afternoon. He had, before that run, 17. Now he's over 100 yards on the day, 18 carries for 102 yards. Get a chance to see this one again. This is just a quick hitter, the good offensive line blocking. And Chris Ricks picks up 18. Second down and about 14. Again, Ricks gets the call. And again, Ricks gets plus yardage. Not nearly the success this time, however. He's down to the Highlander 40-yard line. But again, as importantly as the yardage is the fact the clock is running.
Yeah, that clock is running.
Less than 5.5 minutes to go. Crabbers looking to match up with either EC Glass or another team, the name of which escapes me. EC Glass?
Lee Jackson.
Lee Jackson?
Somebody. I'm not sure, Tim.
If Hampton wins, you'll know on Sunday already when you see this game who the next opponent is. Downfield, it's in the air, incomplete. Intended receiver was Bobby Blizzard. He was guarded very closely by number 9. That's Kevin White. White all over him, but a good defensive play. Stops the clock with 4:57 remaining. Here's the replay. You'll see.
And you just saw Blizzard go by your screen.
Curry lofted, got a good amount of air to that ball. The ball was up for grabs, but a good defensive play by Kevin White to break it up. And now the Crabbers looking at 4th and 13. They are at the 40 of Highlanders. Swing pass for Chris Ricks, and Ricks will not get the first down. A good defensive play by Levon Carter again.
He's played a great game.
If we were picking a player of the game for the Highlanders, Levon Carter right now would get my pick.
But we've got some people we consider for the Hampton. Of course, Chris Ricks comes to mind real quick. Darrell Smith comes to mind, Ronald Curry. Right now, I'm kind of leaning towards Darnell Hollier, Tim. He's the one that made that hit to cause a fumble that the Crabbers stopped at the beginning of the second half on a drive by the Highlanders.
Carter throwing long, incomplete.
And, of course, made an interception and has been in a lot of tackles. And we don't give too many defensive players the player of the game. So we'll just see what we come up with. We got
a penalty down on the play. Pass was intended for Dave Costello. It fell incomplete, but there is a penalty on the field.
Well, if it's against McLean, you take it. Because you want to move them back and give them a lot of, make them go a lot of yardage. Because the worst
Well, it looks like
Besides the score, the worst thing they've got against them right now is the clock.
it looks like it is against McLean. Ineligible receiver downfield. So probably with that substantial penalty, they will take the yardage. McLean thinks so. They're already backing up, but Donnie Green is discussing it with referee Broadhurst, and that will be the selection. So it remains first down, but now it'll be 1st and 25. Check that.
15, I think,
First
isn't it?
down at 15. Sorry.
Ball's on, I think, what do you got the ball on, 20-something?
About the 26-yard line. Levon Carter rolling, looking. Makes the short pass, now unloads, throws deep. He's got Costello there, but is picked off by Ronald Curry. The 5th interception of the afternoon, and the 5th Crabber to come up with one. Ronald Curry, and he will keep going. He's going to drag a tackler. He drags Evan Kay for about 10 yards. 5 interceptions this afternoon for the Hampton Crabbers, and that will seal the doom, I'm afraid, for the McLean Highlanders.
Well, Tim, they
turn the ball over.
Have they called any timeouts, the Highlanders, do you know?
Watch the replay here, and I think they've called perhaps one, but I'm not sure.
What a nice over-the-head, over-the-shoulder catch by Ronald Curry. And a nice move right here. The young man gets a hold of him, and he drags him for about 6 yards.
4:11, the clock is rolling. Grabbers inside the Highlander 40-yard line. Ronald Curry takes his time. 4:05, clock moving. The quick hitter, this is Smith. Darrell Smith has close to enough for another first down.
I'll tell you that Ronald Curry checked off on the line of scrimmage. He saw that play would work.
Here's your
Watch the replay of that. It's just a quick hitter, the little trap play right up the center. As you see the Crabber trap right there, and he actually ran into his own man, bounced outside, and still picked up the first down yardage.
Levon Carter on the afternoon, 13 of 26 in the passing department, but he's been picked off 5 times. He's got 146 yards passing, but those 5 picks by 5 different Hampton Crabbers appear to be his downfall, and it is a first down.
I'm glad I was holding my breath. I said first down, and I'm thinking, oh, wow, they're measuring this.
To this point in the game, the total yardage, 293 yards for the Crabbers, 238 yards. And again, we want to thank Alex Grimm. I'm spoiled rotten now.
I know what you're going to do next week.
I don't. Chris Ricks in motion to the far side. This is Smith, and Smith just drags tacklers for about 6 or 7 yards. I think the heart may have just left the stadium for the Highlanders.
I think so too, Tim. But did you see who was downfield blocking for the Crabbers? Little Adam Lively, 55, the center, downfield blocking. Oh, another sophomore.
The Highlanders. Yeah, he said he wanted to get a good shot of him in there today. So,
well, if they watch the end of that last play, we can even show it on replay. You'll see him downfield blocking.
Did we mention that Forbes and Broadwell attorneys at law have been really good to us, and we appreciate their support for our coverage today?
Well, if we haven't, we just did again.
I think we might have missed him.
Yeah, I got that.
Here's your replay.
Now watch this. Right at the end of the screen, you see 55 right there getting up. He's downfield blocking. Great job by Adam Lively.
So, barring a near miracle here with 3:27 remaining in the ball game, the Crabbers will host the state championship game. Look at that, the moon there's Bob.
How do they find a moon? I'm being blinded by the sun.
That's the reason they can see it.
Well, Scotty made the right statement. Our camera people can do anything.
Now, we are told that the Hampton Crabbers, should they hold on or win this game, will host at Todd Stadium. Of course, many of us would like to see that game played at Darling Stadium.
Well, maybe we can get some phone calls or something. I don't know. I don't understand. The Class Stadium is by far Darling Stadium and the job that Larry Malloy and his group do down there.
Curry gives to Smith, and Smith struggles for a couple of yards. And again, the Crabbers in no hurry to do anything but run the ball right now. 3:16 remaining. And I believe the Highlanders have at least one timeout remaining. See if I can check with our officials down there and determine that. They are not making an effort at this point in time to stop the clock. If they do, in fact, have a timeout left, they're inside of 3 minutes to go. The Crabbers leading by 2 touchdowns, shutting out the Highlanders of McLean High School. This is Ronald Curry, and Curry keeps and gets away from a couple of tacklers. A late hit coming in.
And there's a flag on that. There was no doubt about that. That's frustration.
And it wasn't real blatant, but it was a late hit.
And that is frustration. You go 12-0, you don't feel to go. You don't feel like you can't put any points on the scoreboard.
Here is the play. You'll see Curry. This is going to be coming right towards you. Curry fakes the handoff, and this is him just there. You see on the left of your screen, and you'll see him as he tries to juke for a yard and gets by one guy. Now watch, he's going to go down, and then here comes 22, a little late. And it'll be half the distance to the goal line, so the Crabbers will have a 1st and goal at about the 5-yard line, closer to the 4. Clock is restarted with 2:37 remaining. And the Hampton Crabbers will try for their 13th state championship next Saturday afternoon. Fumble. Crabbers say they've gotten it back, and I believe they do. They'll stop the clock to unpile the players. Now they'll re-crank it. So clock moves with 2:17 and moving.
Well, that was Smith that came up with his own fumble that time.
The Crabbers this afternoon have fumbled on 3 different occasions but have not lost the ball. And Ronald Curry has not thrown an interception. He is 3 of 6 this afternoon for 96 yards. And it's a touchdown. I was looking at the monitor, Bob.
I never saw the signal.
Well, they are congratulating Ronald Curry, so it might have been, well, I won't even speculate.
Well, I think I know what happened. I was watching Smith go into the middle. Curry kept the ball, bootlegged it around the left side, Tim. I hope we have that on replay, because that's exactly what happened. Watch. Looks like Smith is getting the ball right up the middle, and look at him jump into the line, and everybody thinks he's got it. Curry still got the ball. He faked me out.
So
of course, I'm easy to fake out.
Ronald Curry will go around the left end for 4 yards.
As you can see him, he's in the end zone.
Yep. So Lee Davis is the other team we were trying to think.
Lee Davis, okay. I knew it was Lee something. I couldn't remember.
It'd be E.C. Glass or Lee Davis, and that will be in Hampton or Newport News. Unofficially at this point, we understand it'll be at Todd Stadium. So with 1:54 remaining in the ball game, the Crabbers have extended their lead now to 19-0. I'll tell you, Bob, this has been a hard-fought game, but you wouldn't expect anything less in a state semifinals. McLean has played tough.
Oh, they really have, Tim. It's been a game that if you're from McLean, you didn't win, but it wasn't because you didn't give it your all-out effort. You just ran into a team that has just got some awesome athletes.
An excellent effort on both sides of the field this afternoon, but the Crabbers are going to come away with the victory as they now lead 19-0, and they will go for 2 points here. Ronald Curry over the center as one man in the backfield. That is Smith. Curry wants to throw for the 2-pointer, and it is caught.
Oh, after it was hit by a defensive player. I believe that was groomed off of somebody's hands. I never saw who it was.
I don't know, but Ahmad Hawkins appeared to bring it in for the 2-point conversion, making the score 21-0. And now, and only now, can I tell you that this game was predicted to be a 21-point victory. Here's the extra point.
Two people hit the ball. Okay. Who predicted that?
Mr. Keats said the final score would be 28-7.
Well, Bob Killen said 30-0.
What did Ron Baton predict? Is that right?
Well, we've got some people that I want them to pick my next lottery ticket.
Ron Baton said he predicted 21-0. He is on the number right now. So some happy Hampton coaches are headed past us on their way down to the field. As the Crabbers
Congratulations,
will play for
fellas.
the state championship next Saturday afternoon. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Well, Tim, we got to come up with a player of the game. I'm going to go with Darnell Hollier.
He could be
How do you
one
feel?
of a half a dozen. That choice is as good as any. He has been incredibly instrumental. He played such a great game against Deep Creek, but he was overshadowed by the play of Ronald Curry.
Yeah, as was everybody.
So we're going to give Darnell Hollier the accolades.
And I believe you met his mother.
Yes, Mrs. Hollier, I believe it was Mrs. Hollier, came up at the last game and wanted to confirm with us, actually during the Granby game, wanted to go up and tell us that it in fact was Dwight Hollier, his brother, who plays for the Miami Dolphins. There's our little camera person, our little pixie, Tanya. Done a great job. Our camera people have done a super job. Got up here early this morning and set up, and just as always, we appreciate all the efforts. Jerome Young on the instant replay, Matt Braxton on one camera, and we got whistles and a stoppage of play. 1:43 remaining. Of course, Scotty Bowers is our director, producer, and all-around guy, and Bianca Petaway.
You know, we said 21-0. The game's not over yet.
What?
The game's not over yet.
Oh, no, of course not. It's not over yet, but the decision of the game, I believe, is well.
Oh, yeah.
There you see ESPN, Ron Baton giving you the wave from the sidelines. Great job, ladies and gentlemen. Almost picked off again as Mark Baycoat was looking for number 2, and he had the end zone in his eyes. He would have been on the way had he been able to hold on to it. Now, we don't know what Carter's interception record for the season was. We know that he completed about 66% of his passes. And this afternoon, if you include his 5 INTs, he is at about 66%.
But he's throwing it to the wrong colored jersey, right?
5 guys with the wrong jerseys. Carter back to pass again, throws, and again, incomplete. This time his receiver, Costello, was in the midst of making his move and really wasn't looking for the ball.
Well, that's a young man who has already signed to go to Virginia Tech. They've got some fine athletes up in this area, and it's nice to see some of these young people are staying in the state.
Hey, you know, that's one of the big reasons why Virginia and Virginia Tech have been nationally ranked, is these fine players from the state of Virginia are staying here. Boy, I couldn't be happier with that. I don't know about you.
It makes me happy to be able to see them continue their football career and their academics.
1:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Swing pass complete to Epperson. And Epperson, good hit. And I'll tell you something, this game may be all but over, but the knocking out there has not stopped as dust flew as both of these guys made contact. Epperson put his shoulder down. I'll tell you, this McLean team just never has quit, even though they are obviously going to lose this game. Watch this now, the swing pass.
And look how close, I think that's number 74 for the Crabbers, how close he came to picking that ball off or getting a hand on it.
McKenzie making the final stop on the play, but not before the Highlanders get a first down.
But the Crabbers only rushing 3 linemen.
Donnie Green gets some pressure on Carter, and another interception. This one is again by your man, Hollier. Look out, Hollier, going to get hurt if he passed the ball off to a teammate, but not until the whistle had already sounded. So the 6th interception of the afternoon, the second by Darnell Hollier, our player of the game amongst many good choices.
What are you doing?
And the Hampton defense, we talked about how instrumental they have been in the success of this Hampton program this year. And they have come up big this afternoon with 6 interceptions and a fumble recovery.
Well, I think what's going to happen, Tim, is we're just going to see the Crabbers just take a knee, run the clock out.
And Jones is in at quarterback in place of Ronald Curry. Andre Jones, who had to come in the first half when Curry was shaken up. Jones will not get away from a would-be tackler, and a late flag comes down.
I think there was a face mask.
Yeah. In any event, a loss on the play, and we'll see who the penalty is against. It is a face mask penalty against the Highlanders. Less than a minute to go. So Hampton will face either Lee Davis or E.C. Glass next Saturday afternoon at 1:30, whether it's at Todd Stadium or Darling Stadium. Let me take this chance to ask everybody to come out and support this game, as the game will be at 1:30.
I kind of mentioned that, Scotty, but go ahead.
Not me. I'm not getting into this. But in any event, truly, wherever it's played, come on out Saturday afternoon at 1:30 and show Hampton your support. This is a fine football team, and I don't know what the cost will be. I assume general admission will be $6 like it was for the semifinal game. It will be worth it, because you will be treated to an excellent ball game, I am sure. Timeout has been called. So the Highlanders will take the timeout. I'm sure, I can't imagine Hampton would have called the time. On the face mask penalty, even though there was a sack on the play goes over. The penalty is assessed from the point of the penalty, and the down remains the same. So it is, in fact, a gain on the play for the Crabbers instead of a substantial loss.
Looks like about a 7-yard gain, doesn't it?
It's got
Oh, yeah. We got a Seagulls that come up here and check out the game. I mean, everybody follows the Hampton Crabbers. Somebody said Crabbers and Crabs, and the Seagull says, that sounds like something to eat.
Yep.
And right now, the Crabbers are eating up the Highlanders.
So the timeout is almost over with.
Oh, is that Jonathan Seagull?
Jonathan. Less than a minute to go.
If you use the other hand, Tim, I can see.
All right. We're up here blocking the sun from our eyes as we try to call the final plays here for you. And it will be a pleasure to be on hand for the championship game next Saturday afternoon. We will be there. Hope you are too. Jones gets back to the line of scrimmage. That's about all. It didn't really look like the Crabbers were all that anxious to do it. It looks like they were just trying to get Jones a little experience in handling the ball under game conditions.
Oh, we got a new backfield, too. That number 44 is in the backfield, Tim. That's Alan Blizzard, a 9th grader.
Just a 9th grader. Clock moving, 23 seconds. The Highlanders cannot stop it again. And I understand that Mike Smith just got a Gatorade bath. And he wasn't feeling real chipper before the game, so
well, I hope he's got some dry clothes. That's a long road trip back there.
And that is the final play of the ball game.
And that looked like number 5. Who was that, Tim?
That would be Jermaine Crawford, a sophomore who got the final carry of the ball game. And there you see the final score is the Hampton Crabbers defeat McLean Highlanders by the final score of 21-0 to reach the state championship game for Division 5 next Saturday afternoon, 1:30 game time. And we are told that game will be played at Todd Stadium. I want to thank the following sponsors who contributed towards bringing you the broadcast of tonight's game. Hampton Chevrolet at 1073 West Mercury Boulevard in Hampton. Forbes at Broadwell, attorneys at law, along with Lifeline Fitness. By Zooms with 5 Hampton locations.
When gearing up for your next print job, call Gear Up.
Ended by Wood Funeral Home, Richard Pulley, funeral director. Well, Bob, your final thoughts on today's game?
Well, Tim, you have to really take your hats off to this Hampton Crabbers. That was probably the worst field I've ever seen to play a ball game in, for being soft and not being able to get your footage. But the Hampton Crabbers made a great adjustment. Their coaches knew that this young man was going to throw the ball. They had the defense in to stop the long ball. Again, we saw the defense bend and bend, but not break when they get down into the red zone. What a great day. You see a good shot of the Hampton Crabbers. Are they happy or what? getting Ron beaten out there.
Well, again, we'll wrap up real quickly. The final statistics show the Crabbers with a total of 317 yards total offense. They had 221 yards rushing on 44 carries, 96 yards passing on 3 out of 6. And the 3 touchdowns, of course, were scored by Hawkins, Smith, and Curry. Ricks and Curry, excuse me. Hawkins, Ricks, and Curry. The leading rusher in the ball game, Chris Ricks, 20 carries for 105 yards. And he was followed very closely by Darrell Smith, who had half as many carries and had 105 yards. So the two rushing backs, Ricks and Smith, for 212 yards total. And Curry, 13 carries for 3 yards. So he had an off day for him. But as we talked about, this is not a one-man team.
No, it really isn't, Tim. It just goes to show you that you have many weapons on this Hampton Crabber team, and we had alluded to that at the beginning of in our pregame.
They are in the title game next Saturday afternoon, scheduled for Todd Stadium at 1:30. We will be there. Hope you are too. The final score: the Hampton Crabbers move to the state championship game with a 21-0 victory over McLean Highlanders. For Bob Hintz and the entire Channel 5 crew, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon, everybody.